Welcome to episode 107, where we dive into Robert Greene's The Laws of Human Nature. Life inevitably brings pain, whether through sickness, failed relationships, or personal setbacks. Ultimately, we all face mortality. When confronted with these harsh realities, we are left with two choices in how we live our lives. 1. We can try to avoid pain. 2. We can learn to accept and even welcome pain. Most people choose the first way. They try to dodge anything that might hurt. They don't try too hard at work so they won't fail. They end relationships quickly before they can get too painful. They use distractions like TV, social media, or drugs to avoid thinking about hard things. They play it safe and keep their dreams small. At the heart of this is being afraid of death. This fear makes people run from all kinds of pain. When bad things happen, they complain about how unfair life is. They retreat more and more from anything challenging. It becomes a cycle. The more they avoid, the more afraid they become. The other choice is what a philosopher named Nietzsche called Amor, Fati, which means love of fate. He said the greatest people learn to love everything that happens to them, even the hard and painful things. This doesn't mean just putting up with pain. It means actually embracing it. Here's what this means in real life. When we get sick, instead of just being miserable, we can use the quiet time to think about our life. When someone is mean to us, instead of just getting upset, we can try to learn something about dealing with difficult people. When we fail at something, instead of giving up, we can figure out what we did wrong and do better next time. When a relationship ends, instead of closing our heart, we can think about what we want in the next relationship. This way of living doesn't mean pain stops hurting. It still hurts. But we start to see pain differently. We start to see that pain can teach us things and make us stronger. Here's how we can start living this way. 1. When you get sick, don't just reach for medicine right away for every little pain. Use the quiet time to think and rest. Notice how much you appreciate feeling healthy when you get better. 2. When people are difficult, instead of just thinking, "This person is terrible," ask yourself what you can learn. Practice handling tough situations without getting too upset. Think about what you might have done to add to the problem. 3. When you fail at something, don't give up. Think about what you learned. Remember that most successful people failed many times. Be proud of yourself for trying something hard. 4. When relationships have problems, don't run away at the first sign of trouble. Think about what you can learn about yourself. Use the experience to understand what you really want in relationships. This isn't easy. You can't just decide one day to love pain and suddenly everything is fine. It's more like learning to play an instrument or getting in shape. It takes practice. At first, it's really hard, but over time, it gets easier to find the lessons and meaning in painful experiences. When you learn to live this way, some amazing things happen. You stop complaining so much because you see that everything has a purpose. You don't feel so jealous of other people because you're focused on your own path. You become braver because you're not so afraid of getting hurt. You feel more peaceful because you're not always fighting against reality. Think about it. Why get upset about traffic when you can use the time to think? Why be angry about rain when it waters the plants? Why complain about difficult people when they can teach you patience? There's a lot in life we can't control. We can't stop ourselves from ever getting sick. We can't make everyone like us. We can't avoid death. But we can control how we think about these things. When you stop fighting against the painful parts of life and start seeing them as important parts of your journey, you find a strange kind of freedom. You're free from constantly wishing things were different, being afraid of what might go wrong, feeling like life is unfair. Instead, you can face challenges with courage, learn and grow from every experience, find meaning even in hard times, Imagine a runner training for a marathon. The training is painful, sore muscles, exhaustion, early mornings. But the runner doesn't wish it was easy. They know the pain is making them stronger. Or think about someone learning to play music. Their fingers hurt. They make lots of mistakes. It's frustrating. But they don't complain about the difficulty. They know it's part of getting better. We can approach all of life this way. Every difficulty is training. Every painful experience is teaching us something. Death is the ultimate pain and loss. But even here we have a choice. We can spend our lives in fear of death, trying to pretend it won't happen. Or we can accept it as part of life and let it teach us. To appreciate each day, to focus on what really matters, to live fully and bravely. It takes courage to say yes to everything life brings, the good and the bad, the easy and the hard, the joyful and the painful. But this courage opens the door to a richer, fuller way of living. When we stop running from pain and start seeing it as a teacher, we become stronger, wiser, and more peaceful. We learn that we can handle anything life brings. And in facing our fears, even our fear of death, we become truly free to live. Remember, the goal isn't to suffer more. The goal is to suffer better, to find meaning and growth in the pain that is already part of life. When we can do this, we're not just surviving life, we're embracing it fully with all its light and shadow, joy and pain. We're now accepting a special kind of donation, your likes. Each one gives us the motivation to keep creating top-notch content for you. If something in this video resonated with you, share your thoughts and personal experiences in the comments below. Your insights could be valuable to someone else. Now, a quick reminder. Make it a habit to learn something beneficial every day. Remember, the content you consume is like food for your brain. Be intentional about it. Otherwise, the algorithm might end up influencing your thoughts. Give it some thought. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.